And in this corner, weighing in at 143 from Winter Haven, Florida, with a record of 32-5 and 24 knockouts. Two-time former welterweight champion in the world, Andre the Beast Berto! And there he is, baby. Andre Berto in the house. Welcome to the Eddie Mata Show. By the way, how was that introduction?
It was how you did your thing, man. You probably have a little profession right there. Probably do a little something. Damn.
It's all right. It's all right. Stay there. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Anyways, Andre, listen. What I want to do is, I want to talk about, about your boxing. But what I really want to know, this is what I really want to know. I want to know the steps, how to set up a boxing match. What I mean by that, it's like, okay, so what happens? You're 15-0, let's say, right? And you want to fight somebody, or they want to fight you. Who's in charge of all that stuff? Like, do the promoters are in charge?
Managers. You just can't really put it. You can put it together yourself, but you have to be connected somewhat to a sense. But most of the time, you need to make sure to have a great promoter and a great manager that's able to put everything together for you, because it's a lot that goes into those shows. It's not just, I want to fight him. We go in there and fight. You got to put together a whole sanctioning, type situation. You have to. I mean, it's a lot of work that goes into it.
But what is it? 3 months before you guys set up the fight? Is that how it works?
I mean, for us, of course. I mean, like we have big promoters with us. We have big managers. And it normally takes a good probably 2 to 3 months. Probably 2 to 3 months. Maybe a little bit longer for a huge show, because they want to make sure to promote it the right way.
So, Berto, let's just say someone offers a fight to you. Can you decline and say, no, I'm not interested in that?
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course. But, like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, the fight game is business. So you could decline it. Mm-hmm. They could throw some more money at you. And, it might be more of interest to you. Or, a lot of guys, they get put in a certain situation, man. They really can't decline a lot of these fights. You know what I mean? Because they don't have that type of leverage. So they need these fights. They need, whatever they bring to the table. So, I mean, that's the give and go when it comes to this fight game.
But Berto, here's my question. Let's say you started off your career, right? Let's say you're like at 13-0, right? Was it hard to get big name fights against big guys? You know what I'm saying?
When I was coming up, of course, for me, when I was coming up, because I went to the Olympics in 2004, so I was highly,
right?
So I was highly tried coming out the Olympic Games, and I was just destroying everything on my way up. And of course, me being young and being just hyped, I wanted to fight everybody and anybody. Like even at 15-0, I wanted the Floyd Mayweathers, the Shane Mosley, really early in my career. But like I said, this fight game is business. So a lot of guys at that point, at their level of their careers, it doesn't make sense for them to fight a young, dangerous kid like me that they can't bring that type of revenue in with. They might as well fight a guy, of course, it's on their level when it comes to a certain type of draw that they're able to draw, to that fight, so they can make as much money as they can make.
Okay, so you booked a flight, right? Where do you train? Where do you go?
Exactly. Me myself, I did a lot of different training camps. At the beginning of my career, I did a lot of training camps in Miami because I am from Florida. But nowadays I'm over here on the West Coast, so I do a lot of my training camps in Oakland, California. Got my team out that way. LA is a little too crazy for me, during training camp time.
You can't focus.
I got to shut it down. Too much paparazzi. It's a lot of crazy shit that goes around.
So here's my question. Now, when you get to the training facility, right? Yeah. How many weeks? Is it 10 weeks? Is it 12 weeks?
It's about a good 10 weeks. I mean, probably at the beginning of your career, where you're going probably maybe up to probably 10-0. Training camps are short, maybe 4 to 5 weeks. But once you start stepping up a competition, once you start stepping up to the big fights, once you start, stepping up in the rounds of just like competition, then it spreads out. You want to try to make sure to, get in a very, intense training camp, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10-week training camp for big championship fights. And some fighters go longer. So it just depends on you, depends on it depends on your work ethic.
Okay, so your work ethic. Give me the
Yeah.
schedule. During training, you wake up, give it
All
from the morning to night. And after that, I want to ask questions about the foods you eat, all right? So you
right.
wake up in the morning, then what?
It just depends. Like I say, I mean, every day, every other day is a different schedule.
Okay.
We work probably probably 2 or 3 times a day. So we get up in the morning. Say like on an off day, I do track work early in the morning.
Okay.
And that's with my track coach. We do a lot of different drills. We do a lot of different track conditioning workouts, and strength conditioning. Then I go to the boxing gym. I probably like an hour or two later, 3 hours later, go to the boxing gym.
And is that during lunch, Berto? The boxing gym during lunch?
And listen, it's breakfast,
Uh-huh.
track work.
Okay.
I mean, I light breakfast, very light breakfast, track work, come back, have a light lunch, lay down for an hour, go straight to the boxing gym, knock it out for another 2, 3 hours, go back home, relax a little bit, maybe have a snack, and go do strength conditioning. And that's it. Go home, shower up, have dinner, lay it down. Next morning, start all over again. Start all over again with a different set of workouts and sparring as well. So we probably spar like 3 days a week with 4 or 5 different guys at the same time. So we switch those days in. Track work day, your boxing gym strength work. Next day, we try to rest as much as we can, eat breakfast, and we go to spar. And we have 4 or 5 different sparring partners waiting outside the ring. Each of them go say like 2 to 3, 4 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
You get up to that sparring partner leaves, and another fresh one comes in. Give you another 2 or 3 rounds. Then he gets up, and another fresh one comes in, and you stay in there the whole time.
Wow.
And you're basically paying these guys, hey, listen, and a lot of our small partners too, the way that we make sure that they stay, like really intense, we always try to offer a bonus. If they knock us down or knock us out, whatever the case may be, they get a bonus.
So your team, you got to pay these guys, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, we got to pay them.
So how many people come along? How many people are with you during training camp? Bless you.
I mean, man, we pay for a whole team, brother. Like I say, my strength conditioner coach, my boxing coach, my sparring partners, which I have probably, 3 to 4 sparring partners depending on who I'm fighting. My track coach, my stretch guy, my masseuse.
What?
So I got a nice little team.
Hold up, Berto. So you got to put these guys up for 10 weeks in a hotel, or you guys rent a big home?
Most of the time, like when I go out to like a certain area, say like Oakland, which I've been there for the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people live there already, but some of the other ones I have to fly in. I have to set them up.
But then with you paying them, it's the promoters that put up the money too, right? I mean,
yeah, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, it comes out your pocket anyway. That's one thing these young fighters have to realize and understand.
okay.
A lot of these young fighters, which I get a lot of them that call me now and ask me advice. I've been in the game now for, I don't know, 16 years. One thing about it is if your promoter or your manager, if they're telling you, don't worry about it, I'm going to take care of this training camp. Just pay for whatever you need to pay for to make sure you're ready, which is correct. But you need to understand something. At the end of that fight, a big chunk of that, piece of that money is coming right out of that fight check. That's what they need to understand. A lot of these young guys feel like their promoters or their managers are just taking care of them and make sure things okay, which they are. But trust, they're getting all that stuff back on the back end.
And then, how many calories a day do you eat with food? I know you got to eat healthy, right, Berto? You can't be having those Snickers,
Oh yeah. Oh no,
cookies, any of that stuff,
no.
right?
No, see that's the thing with me. I don't really count calories too much, man, because I work so hard. But just my diet and training camp is pretty, intense to a point. I don't do any yeast at all. I don't do any dairy at all. I don't do any grains at all. I don't do any type of processed sugars at all.
Wow.
While I'm in training camp and everything is all organic. Everything is all wild caught, and everything's fresh. Pretty much. So no candy, no chips, no other type of bullshit while we're going through training camp.
And what time you go to bed at night?
Oh man, I try to hit the bed if I can. I try to hit the bed a good 9 o'clock. Try.
9 p.m.
And 9 p.m. because we got to be up. A lot of times we do track work in the morning, depending on which day. A lot of times when we got to do track work in the morning, it's 6:30. We got to be up.
So the
And this
track,
is everyday cycle.
right? So the track work is a lot of distance running, or is it a lot of wind sprints, or is it both?
Nowadays, of course, the science of that has changed now. Back in the days, a lot of guys, they used to run, like tons of distance. You used to do 10 miles, 15 miles, Mike Tyson. A lot of these guys. But now, when it comes to the science of everything, everything should be, you know, you know like very short and in high bursts. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, that's the way we fight.
Right.
We don't fight like we're jogging a long 10-mile run. Everything is very explosive in short bursts. So we have to train our bodies to do that.
All right, so Berto, so now let's say the 10th week or the 11th week or the 12th week, right?
Yeah.
Say that match is Saturday, right? What do you
do? And one main thing too, no sex during training camp at all.
Oh wait, get out of here! You told me what?
None.
So
none.
Wow, your girl must be going crazy, but
she doesn't finish.
So you're saying no sex at all during training?
None.
Wow.
None. So you a wild bull coming out of there. Seriously.
Okay, so let's say the fight starts Saturday. What do you do before that Monday? When it comes Monday, then Saturday the fight. What do you do that whole week?
That whole week? When it comes to fight week, fight week is very important.
Okay.
Fight week is our tone down week. You need to make sure that you've worked extremely hard all 8 to 9 weeks. So when fight week comes, you're just shaking off the rest of the extra weight, that you need to let off. And you just fine tune everything you need to do. All the work is done already.
Uh-huh.
Now it's just time to relax. You need to let your body recover fight week. Do little shakeouts here and there to make sure that you're on weight. And that's it. Fight week is working on technique, working on the game plan, and relaxing, staying focused on what you got to do on Saturday night.
Okay, so now here's my question. This is the biggest question right now. Okay, Berto, this is my boy Rob Gomez. He's a huge boxing fan. He asked me this. He said, when you guys weigh in, you weigh in from the welterweight is 141 to 147, right?
Yes.
Okay, what happens when you weigh in and you're under 141 or you're over 147? Is the belt taken away now?
You have to make weight. That's one thing. You have to make weight. I haven't really seen too many people in my career that's been below the weight limit. I really haven't. But of course, if you're overweight and you guys are fighting for a title, if you can't make that weight, that fight, that title is already, like it's automatically relinquished. That's done.
But can you still fight? Is the fight going to still be on?
Oh, yeah. You can still fight for sure. You can still fight. The fight can still go. And most of the time, a lot of the time, you still have to pay a penalty to your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, like there's no title on the line at all.
Okay, so here's the question,
Berto. See a lot of guys that really lose their titles on the scale all the time.
Oh, but Berto, here's another question. You weigh in 32 hours before the fight, and at, let's say, 143, right? Let's say you made it. But then, the next day, Berto, how much do you weigh coming in the ring? That's what I want to know. Because this my boy Rob told me about this. He told me that they get a little heavier, and that punch is a little much heavier now. Is that true?
Man, I know guys that put on. I've seen guys put on 20, 25 pounds in a day.
What?
Oh, easy. Like Arturo Gatti. He was infamous for that. A ton of fighters used to do that. They just put on all that weight because you're drying yourself out so much to try to make weight. Depending on how you cut, if you didn't have a really good cut weight, or if you're just really drying yourself out to make that weight, any type of, pretty much anything you put in your body is going to grab. It's going to grab and it's going to hold, man. So I see a lot of guys, man, they You know what I mean? They broke up for a good, I mean, healthy situation was about 10 pounds, 10 to 12 pounds.
Did that ever
You know?
happen to you, Berto? Did you ever gain weight coming in?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we want to always try to be, as hydrated as possible. And if we can be at an advantage to a sense, you want to be there. But then again, being bigger doesn't always mean you're going to be a lot more effective in the fight, though. You know what I mean? It just depends if your body, accepts it in that way. Like you see a guy like Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, he stays close to weight all the time naturally. So when he makes weight, he may gain, I don't know, probably 5 pounds after weigh-in and walk into the ring, probably like 150, 151. But that's his natural weight. That's how he feels great at. So it just depends on the fighter, the weight that he's performing, his best in training camp. He needs to try to be at that weight come fight time.
So, Berto, once you weigh yourself
Yeah.
and you look at each other like you want to kill each other,
Yeah.
and then once you leave, that's it. Are you? How do you gain that weight? Do you eat a lot of meats? Like, what is it?
Yeah. I mean, to be realistic, I mean, like for a fighter, that's probably like I think that's our favorite time. That's our favorite time. That's our most relaxing time. We finally get to, get off the scale and spend time with our family and friends, go out to eat. And if you know how to hydrate correctly, you can put on that weight really quickly. A lot of us we try to put in a lot of just fluids. If it's water, if it's coconut water, if it's Pedialyte, we try to do as much as we can just to rehydrate the body first, and then we carb up. A lot of us, it just depends on their diet, through training camp. But a lot of guys we carve up on a lot of pastas, a lot of meats and steaks. It just depends.
Okay, so
But
Berto, now when you guys look at each other, do you guys
yeah,
really hate each other? I mean, I get scared.
depends.
Yeah,
Depends. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hated a few of these guys.
like
I didn't like a few of them.
I know you and Mayweather are friends, but I'm just saying, like, is it? Do you hate him so much, but then afterwards you're just good friends? Is that how it
Yeah,
is?
not even so much hate, man. Especially if you've been in the game as long as we've been in the game, when we know that it's business.
Uh huh.
You know, but still, even if it's business, it's always more of like a pride thing. Like, yeah, I'm gonna beat your ass just because this is business. We're gonna make this money, but I'm still gonna beat your ass.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not too much of just hate, hate, hate. I mean, of course, you find a few situations that's like that, but like most of the time, man, all the stuff is just business, and we just want to be the best at what we do. I mean, it's competition.
Okay, so the following night's fight night. Okay, what time do
Yeah.
you show up at the MGM wherever you're fighting? What time?
Man, fight time, fight time. We want to try to make sure me, myself, and all the all the smart fighters, we want to keep our same routine like we do in camp. You want to get up at a decent time, make sure you sleep in, eat breakfast, and don't try to eat too heavy of a lunch. We may go to the arena probably 3 or 4 o'clock, depending on what time that we need to be wrapped up or we need to walk to the ring.
Okay.
In that time.
Here's another question. I didn't even know this, Berto, but
Uh-huh.
when you go to your locker and it's time to get wrapped up, they
Yeah,
have the other camp, the guy that you're fighting. Let's say it's Mayweather's camp. They
yeah,
have a guy come into your locker and they're
yeah,
watching your trainer wrap
yeah.
your
Wrap.
hands. Right?
Yeah,
Why is
yeah.
that important, Berto? Please explain that because this is interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, because you get ready to go to war, but you have, a commission, like you have to have somebody from the other side, come in and just watch you rap just to make sure everything is okay. And if he has any type of complaints, he can complain to the commissioner, hey, we don't like this, what he's doing to his gloves, because tons of people, man, they wrap hands completely different. A lot of people they wrap hands very, either legally or illegally. It's very easy to rap illegally to put it into, a type of situation that is like a cast on your hand. Or a lot of people, they sneak things in the hand wraps as well. Like, the Margarito situation when Margarito fought Cotto. He was able to put like some plaster, he put some plaster in his hand wrap, and it's almost like you're going out there just hitting somebody with a real weapon that he can't really defend. So
Well, I heard the stuff they put in there. Your glove, the average glove,
Yeah.
Official glove is 16 ounces. When they put shit in there, it's probably like 24 ounces. And you get hit like that because that fight, Cotto versus
You need to think
Margarito.
about it. When you think about it though, like you talking about 16 ounces. That's the type of gloves that we spar with. Let's say us, we fight in 8-ounce gloves.
Oh, 8-ounce glove you guys fight with?
8-ounce gloves. So just imagine how small and tight they are, and then you stuff something up in there that's gonna, it's just gonna make that hand wrap even more of a brick.
Right.
Because when guys put plaster and some type of stuff in that hand wrap, we automatically start sweating after the second or third round, and it turns that into brick.
Yes, it turns.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're hitting somebody with a brick. You know what I mean? So it can get dangerous, man. So that's always the situation. And man, a lot of people get caught. We've seen a lot of people get caught.
But it isn't, when the guy found out, Mosley's camp found
Yeah,
out
yeah,
that he said, hey, wait a minute, you're only supposed to do one wrap, but he did 2 wraps as training.
Yeah.
Right? So tell me
You're not
about
supposed to, it's a certain way you got to wrap it. You can't wrap it over the knuckle either. A lot of guys try to get away with, you know what I mean, trying to wrap over the knuckle. And a lot of people, once they finish the job and they try to sneak it through the commission and put the glove on it, what they do, what they call it, they lace the gloves as well. They pull the glove back, you know what I mean? They pull the glove back, you know what I mean, like over the knuckle. So the knuckle can be just pretty much like showing outside the glove that way. They pull the glove back and then they tie it. And they tie it with the lace. That's what we call like lacing the glove. So if you take a punch, you just feeling straight knuckle.
because that fight with Margarito and Cotto was kicking his ass, but then
Yeah.
all of a sudden at the end, Cotto's face was swollen.
Bro, it's just like you're fighting, but you keep getting hit with a block over and over and over. It does. I'm talking about in the arms, in the body, in the head, whatever the case may be. After some time, it's going to wear you down. It's going to wear you down. And as a fighter, I mean, it's not in your mind to stop. You just think it's damn, this kid punches hard. Not thinking that shit. I've been in some fights where I really thought, this dude has to have something in his glove. And this shit feels crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it hurts. But Berto, when you're getting your ass kicked, I'm not saying, you're struggling a little bit, right? I'm not saying you get your ass kicked, but you're struggling a little bit. You got to figure it out. Are you dizzy in there? Is it blurry for you or what?
Well, of course, man. I mean, the fight game is, it's all mental, bro. It's completely different from from any type of gym activity.
Mm-hmm.
You're in that ring, all those big lights, cameras, that crowd. Just that alone, I've seen tremendous fighters like on the way to the ring, just that walk to the ring, get crushed just by the atmosphere before they even take a punch.
You think they get scared, Berto? Do you think they get scared?
Why do they get scared? They get petrified. I've seen guys in the back of their dressing room, trying to warm up and just hearing the crowd out there, and just seeing other guys come to the locker room that went out and fought before them, come back all busted up. I've seen guys, they just, I can't do this, and they tell them to take the gloves off and they go home.
What?
They can't.
Is that fear of failure? They're scared?
Oh, it's a fear of failure. It's a fear of just intimidation, and not even that much from the opponent, from the atmosphere on what's out there. I mean, you're in the dressing room, you're hearing 20,000 people roar, going crazy. You know what I mean? Like in a fight that's before your fight. I mean, you're hearing these punches, you're hearing these, this like wild crowd of people getting knocked down and knocked out, and you're literally watching a guy come in, eye busted up, bleeding, looking crazy, and knowing that you have to be the next one up to go. I mean, that changes your perspective sometimes. Either you're gonna be you're gonna be a damn dog, or want to go out there and make it happen, or it's gonna crush you.
Berto,
Just the atmosphere alone will kill you.
check this out. You be honest with me right now. Out of 35, 37 fights, were you ever scared? Ever it hit you, but you got over it? You're like, it's okay, I'm good. Be honest.
I don't think I've ever been scared. My thing was me coming out as hot as I did. My thing was it was never fear of my opponent. It was always, fear of my performance
Mm.
because, you know, because I was the prospect of the year. I was probably number two pound for pound right before, Mayweather, when I was coming up. And, but I had a lot of eyes on me. I had a lot of criticism as well.
Hmm.
My performance wasn't, like it was supposed to be. So that was where a lot of my anxiety came from to perform to the level that everybody expected me to, or even just the level that I always spoke to myself to. But I'd never been, actually sit there and just think that I was ever afraid of an opponent. It was always expectation I was always trying to live up to.
But expectations can get to you, right, Berto? That could get you
Oh, for
ahead
sure.
because you got
For sure.
articles about you, you got
For sure.
radio,
For
you got
sure. For
HBO,
sure.
Showtime, whoever's
For
covered it.
sure.
They're all
For sure.
talking about it, right?
For sure. For sure. And like I said, I got it early. You know what I mean? I came out the Olympic Games and they already knew this kid was going to be, the hottest thing coming out the Olympic Games, and I wanted to live up to it every bit of it. I wanted to make sure every performance was stellar. And anything that was kind of less than that, I kind of just kicked myself in the butt for it. You know what I mean? And in any performance that I did, even going up in the ranks, and defeating some great guys, if I didn't like the way I finished that person, or if I didn't finish that person, I knew the criticism was coming. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I fought with a lot.
So, Berto, what was harder? You being 24-0 and get to 24-0, or you had to defend your title 5 times? What's harder?
Defending the title, of course. I think for me, being so young and so energized and so hyped, like that was fun for me. Yeah, that was the fun part for me because I had this name, as like the boogeyman, and I was just this young savage coming up, and I wanted to show people why. They, they put that staple on me. It's a whole different situation once you're trying to get that title. You really just want to go out there and just show people why you deserve it. But once you have it, that's a completely different feeling. Like you just, okay, I got this title now. Now everybody's gunning for me.
Oh, they
You
want
know what I'm
you.
saying?
They want you bad.
Everybody's gunning for me. Yeah, so it's different. It's different for sure. Everybody's gunning. Everybody's gunning. All the all the older cats and all the new young guys too. They want that position too. So I'm just like, shit. So it's
But
a
Berto,
different situation.
you maintained 5-0 with that belt, man. That's hard to do.
Yeah, man.
That's really
Man,
hard to do.
it was crazy. Yeah.
So now, after how do you deal with failure? When I say failure, when you lose, I want to know that
Yeah.
part. How
Yeah.
hard you have to, how strong you have to have a strong mind to get over that loss. And
Yeah.
you have thoughts like, "Yo, sponsors are gonna give up on me now," right? Do you have thoughts like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Of course. Like I said, like me, I had, um, like I said, the fight game is just all mental. 90% mental, of course. And just me, when I took my first loss, it hit me heavy because, I came out so hot. I wasn't one of them guys that they had to build their way up to kind of, get a name. Like,
Mhm.
I signed HBO after like my second or third fight. So all eyes were on me early. So when I took that my first loss, it was right before I was supposed to fight Mayweather back then. So it was a lot of, um, it was a lot, around that fight. Mayweather, all these guys, they flew in just for this fight. And it was like in Connecticut, and it was, I didn't expect it to be that big at the time
Mhm.
because the guy I was fighting at the time, I didn't think he was nothing special. So I took him lightly, and I took that loss. It was a tremendous fight. But I took that loss, and it devastated me though, man. Because like I said, I was supposed to fight Mayweather right after, and I was on this roll of almost being invincible, you know, to a sense, and it crushed me. Like I mean, to a point that as a young fighter, wanting everybody to see you, everybody know who you are, to really just wanting just to hide in the shell and just to get away from the world. You know what I mean? So it was pretty intense. Um, for me, actually, I mean, after the fight, I just remember just walking through the airport with a hoodie on, and I'm trying to hide from people because it felt like everybody seen that fight. And I went back home. It was all in the papers. It was on TV, on Sports Center.
Was it getting to you, Berto, when you saw all that stuff?
Man, I mean, I believe I stayed home like a week, maybe a week or two in Florida. I said I couldn't handle it anymore. I mean, I booked the ticket. I flew out to Bali. I flew out to, I think I flew out to the Philippines for like 3 weeks to get away because I wanted to be in a space where nobody knew me. So I wouldn't hear any more noise of it because it was such big news when it happened.
Yeah.
I wanted to get away where nobody knew me and I couldn't see anything on TV or social media. And I disappeared for like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know the story. So you getting it exclusive on the Eddie Martin Show.
There you go, baby. That's how I do it. I want the deep stuff coming out, baby. Berto.
Yeah.
Who's this guy, Eddie Martin?
Eddie Martin? Who the hell is that guy?
Check this out, Berto. When you listen, I saw you after the weekend when you fought Mayweather. I saw you 48 hours later at the Dream Hotel, right? I was passing by Manhattan. And I'm saying to myself, yo, Berto, man, I don't see not one scratch on your face. I don't see black eyes. I don't see anything, man. Tell me about that fight, man.
I was so clean after that fight, bro. I'm like, what the hell was that? Like, it was, I mean, I was in tremendous shape. And of course, I mean, it was a fight I would, it was supposed to happen, 5 years prior. But, but it still ended up coming about. And, I was in tremendous shape. But like I said, man, I just kept coming. I kept coming out. I came for a fight. And just the Mayweather then, because I believe I would have probably had more of a competitive fight back then. Mm-hmm. I mean, when we were supposed to fight, but the Mayweather that I found then, just recently, I mean, he, of course, was a little older, and he just wanted to preserve, every bit of himself. So he just boxed, he hardly touched me.
Berto, that fight was boring. You're aggressive.
Boring. And I'm aggressive.
You aggressive. You're trying to, come on. And then, you know what I noticed? Hey, Berto, I noticed that. Hold on, you there? Yeah, Berto, I noticed that Mayweather, I think the referees love him because when you get him, he hugs you. And the referee's like, all right. You
notice that all of his fights, he has the same referee.
You got the same referee.
He has the same referee after all his fights. I mean, during all his fights. It's a whole method, just me going through that whole situation. I mean, it's a whole method behind that whole Mayweather mania, just finally going through it and, I mean, them sitting me down and really, telling me like how this circus is going to go. You know what I mean? And just having me sign off on everything and basically saying I can't really say much. And this is what's going to happen. We put you in, we got you an opportunity to make a lot of money and, just, fight the best in the world, but it's going to be, all in our terms. You know what I mean? So I have no say so in anything. Drug testers, they're banging on my door at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3-4 days a week. I mean, all types of craziness, man. So I mean, when you're fighting Mayweather, you have to go in there and, throw a lucky shot and clip him if you want to try to get any victory in that. Yeah.
Well, let's look at some of your highlights, Berto. I told you some of your cool video. Watch this. Here, that. Look at you. Oh my God! Look at that. Oh my God, that hurts. I felt that. Look at it. Watch it. Oh my God. Oh, look at you. I mean, you're just a man, kid. I don't know how you take punches, man.
kind of nuts,
You know,
man.
Berto, you know what's great about you too is that in 2010 there was an earthquake in your country in
Yeah,
Haiti. You're the first guy that represented Haiti in the Olympics as a boxer,
for
right?
sure.
And tell me about your foundation, what you did. You actually turned down you were scheduled to fight, but you had to cancel it because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
put the heart and soul because you lost 8 extended family members,
Yeah,
right?
the
Talk
week.
to me about that.
Yeah, the week before. I mean, I was in training camp. I was in my young stage then, and Shane was gonna be my first, my first big fight. Shane Mosley, and during training camp, that's when that's when the earthquake happened, and of course, it was a traumatizing situation just for, my family in general, and just week after week, even though I was trying to just continue to get through training camp, we were, our different family members were coming up either lost or like we're dead. So got to a point that for me, I've been going to Haiti for years. When it comes to my foundation, I'm taking care of a lot of different orphanages, and we have like 30 to 40 different, like clean water wells, and we feed so many kids every year that it kind of, was just digging at me. And then, just one of the last straws were, one of my schools that I actually, was hands on like putting together and putting these kids together. We had probably like 150 kids.
Mm.
The whole school just collapsed, and I believe, a good 60, 70 kids, passed away.
Wow.
Uh, um, at
Sorry
the
about
school. Yeah, man. So,
that.
so I think we just, so I think it's only right, man, that we canceled the fight like the week before the fight. The week before the fight, we canceled, and then we made our trip over to Haiti. With a great friend of mine, down in Miami, Dr. Bart Green, and he was taking a private jet down that way because and have any other type of flights down there. So went down there, and we started going to work, man. Just pulling people out of the rubbish, and he set up a big makeshift hospital there, and we started trying to make sure to attend to the people.
You know, you're such a family man. I love your daughter. She is so adorable. Guys, I want you to take a look at Berto's daughter and his girl. Okay, watch this video right here. Okay, you're going to like how cute is she? Watch this, all right? Here she is.
I thought you could never get loose.
Look at her. Look at her.
Get loose. Get loose. I thought you could never get loose.
So when you hear a girl in the background right now, that's her right there. Too cute. Too cute.
Oh
My God.
nuts.
Berto,
Oh, shit.
you've been great, man. I love
Yeah,
it.
appreciate it.
You had a great career, 32
Yeah.
5, 24 knockouts. You're 36 years old. The last time you fought was 2018. Be straight up with me right now. Will you fight again?
Man, that's a lot of talk.
Okay.
Y'all want to see? We'll have to see soon, man. It looks like, everything's looking pretty well. We're gonna see what happens after this pandemic. But as you can see from my Instagrams, that boy's still staying in shape,
You know,
still staying
speaking of
right.
shape, you know, Berto, speaking of shape, I just want to show people how the hell do you get abs like that? You know? Look at that, man. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Oh, what? Look at those things right there. Hey,
That's
Berto,
funny.
is that the kitchen or is that sit-ups? Which one is
I
it?
don't know what the hell. That's that knife got carved up real quick.
Well, you are ripped. Listen,
Carved up.
it's been great. I love you and your family, your
Yeah,
brother. You know, we had a great time when I was in LA. All right, so
man.
thank you so much for coming on the show. I know we had a little
Appreciate
technical
it.
difficulties, but of course, I came clutch. Not.
Yeah, you made it happen. You made it happen, man. I don't know how you made it happen, but you made it happen. Ah,
That was awesome.